competency is about visualization and storytelling. At the end of the day, your businesses are not interested in learning about whether you have used a logistic regression or something else, whether you have used R or Python or you have used SAS. Who cares about it? Nobody. What do they care about is only one thing, that what business problem you have solved and whether you are able to communicate that in a simple English or not. If they are able to connect with your story, that's what matters to them. So these are the few skills which we feel that is really important when you are building your organization from HR analytics competency point of view. What is important for you to understand here is when you are going and building your organization, you can find people who would be either bringing these skills in silos or probably a combination of it. But the most important aspect here to note that these combinations or the mix of skills would vary as you move from maturity level 1 to 5, whether you are building it in silos or even you are reaching at the innovation leader scale. So please note in that, in our case, when we started a few years back, initially we had too many people onto information management. Today we have a team which is a combination of people who are skilled onto data sciences, storytelling, consulting, all mix of individuals really coming from different aspect of these skills. So this is our overview about the skills which is really required to be built in when you are thinking about building a competency within HR analytics. Let's look into another aspect. I understand that human touch is important, and when you are really driving this for a vast organization which is spread over 70 countries, you need to have some standard in process to ensure one thing: your customer experience remains consistent. And to ensure that, you need to have standard processes and framework in mind. What we did is, here we thought about our customers and what experience we want to deliver, and basis that we defined service offerings. When we say service offerings, so let's say, for example, if we do have group management board, or possibly if we do have HR executive leadership team, we call them as an executive or A-class clients, and they were really covered through a services offered under executive reporting. Then after, you do have operational requirement, right? That is also important to run the organization. But do I really need to put any people behind the scene to really do that? Answer is no. Can I really create a self-service and subscription-based services where people can receive it on their fingertip, or possibly they would be able to receive it via email in a form of Excel or whatever attachment they prefer. If there are questions, there are third services which we provided, which was more around query management, where you can always ask your question and clarify if you are not able to self-service your demand which you are having at place. If you do have any kind of deep dive analysis which you wanted to do, we created fifth or fourth services. We called it bespoke analysis, more like which of the, let's say, recruitment strategy is working well for me. Who are my new joiner attractors or levers, right? Can you help me profile them? Those kind of questions were answered under bespoke analysis services. And the last part was our innovation engine. This is the place which we really, we go and try it out, all our wild ideas and thoughts, create POCs, go to the businesses, and then demonstrate that what is the possibility, our art of possible thinking. The second one was more around, creating approach framework. This is more from the communication and the understanding point of view, so that, whatever we are building, that remains sustainable. And that's the reason we created frameworks, which is in line with, even if someone wants to add a new metric, someone wants to approach an analysis. Let's say someone is performing a attrition analysis. How do I really ensure that doesn't matter, whoever is in my team is performing that analysis is covering holistically? That's the way we do it, by forming a framework where we say, you look into total attrition, split it into voluntary, involuntary, look into voluntary, split it further, let's say under senior executive, gender by top performer attrition. So you create a hierarchy, you create a framework so that everybody really ensures the analysis which is done is holistic in nature and you are not really missing it out. If we are adding a new technology, what is the framework we need to follow? We should not be missing it out. When you really get into analyzing your data quality is one of the things which comes out very strongly. You need to have a very sound framework to start addressing that, because analytics should be helping your data to get better every day. If it is not, you need to look into closely and figure it out if you are missing out something. Collaboration framework, that's another critical one. I'm sure as a part of HR organization, you know what kind of tussle we always have with IT and finance, isn't it? Who reports FTE numbers? Which number is to really trust on? So we created a framework around how exactly we can collaborate with these two organizations to remain a market leader on that. The third part is the most important, which is more around branding and education, because you cannot just produce these services and a framework and give it to your clients and just sit back, right? You need to walk with them. If they are crawling, crawl with them. If they are running, run with them. If they are walking, walk with them. This is the strategy which we applied to ensure that our clients, our customers are not left alone with the technology or anything which we are building. We provided education to them, and time and again we did it. If someone was not able to understand once, we did it again and again. And that's the way we were able to really build the partnership and develop or make it part of the DNA of the organization. The third bit, which is more around technology. Here, when we really looked into building technology landscape for us, we always applied agile approach. If you think about it, when you implement any technology in your organization, there are three kind of questions you are trying to answer. Let me go from bottom. Either you are making a global transformation, then only you are applying technologies, right? Or possibly you are really trying to address something at the organization scale level in terms of recurring reporting or business as usual stuff. The third part is your innovation engine, iterative development. The way we did it is when it comes to global transformation, we believe the only way you can make it happen is education and communication. There is no other thing which really help you do that, because I'm sure the rest of the things will be well taken care by if you have applied a consultant or if you have really working in partnership with any IT organization. But education and communication is two things which you own as a part of your organization, helping your HR folks and other clients to understand how exactly their technology should be using, why it is going to help them do a better job rather than really doing something in terms of job displacement or anything else. BAU delivery, we are very clear, ruthless standardization and decommissioning, right? As I spoke about framework, because if you are going to request me any additional new report, I'm going to follow a framework to ensure that I'm not just keep adding to my kitty. But at any point of time, I do have a governance model to ensure that what I do have to offer through the platform is really useful for you or not. Iterative development, the top one, this is what I called it as an innovation engine. And when I spoke about that, what does it mean? Speed to market. You build, you pick it up small problems. Go wild, build the solution, demonstrate to your clients, fail fast. What will happen? You are receiving your feedback, right? Come back, improve further. And then after, go and demonstrate it again. What is happening there? Your client and you will become an integral part of the whole development process. And when you are building the solution, and by the time you are about, let's say 70% of the solution, your client is already on board. You don't need to really put in your effort to really, get your client do anything else beyond that. So make them part of the story rather than really build solution and then after go and say, hey, this is the out-of-box solution I do have to offer to you. Don't do that. It doesn't work. You are going to get a lot of resistance from that perspective. So these are the three critical things which we did it in terms of when we thought about building people, process, and technology point of view. By doing so, we have achieved a lot. As I spoke about the scale of HSBC, it has become part of DNA. The way we do it, everything and anything in our organization is through HR analytics team. We do have a central capability. And some of the quick wins which I need to really demonstrate here is we do have a platform which is used by 1,500 users. They are self-serving it. They don't come to us. If required, we run the education and communication. We have been able to arrive to 100 plus unique metric which is offered through that particular platform so that they can self-service and get their recurring business running. We do have in-house capability which is onto descriptive, predictive, prescriptive. And more importantly, this is done centrally. What does that mean is we are eliminating any kind of differences which may get originated from doing it in silos. Not only that, I'm sure as a HR function you understand the data and sensitivity associated to people data. And when we are really talking about 70 countries, there is a lot of regulatory requirement comes into picture. Through technology implementation, we have taken care of that too. We are quite controlled and governed organization today from the people data perspective, and we have been able to really deliver that through technology. We have an innovation lab today, and we have been able to deliver a few success stories. Some of them are listed here. I mean, can you quantify learning? Does learning contribute to employee performance? Yes or no? If yes, how much it contributes to? Text mining onto performance document. When your manager writes a feedback, it is a motivational or it is demotivational, right? What is the length of a particular feedback is supposed to be a good feedback? Can you really build your guideline and the training around that one? Getting into predictive attrition models, certainly this is something everybody is talking about, so nothing new about that one. Forecasting process. Now let me draw your attention that what else we are trying to do. We just spoke about predictive attrition model. Today we are in a place where we are doing proof of concept onto machine learning. We are trying to build train of models. So what does it mean? When you do a predictive attrition model, you are trying to really solve one hypothesis. We are thinking about all n number of hypotheses which could be primarily the reason for attrition, and let model, interconnected model, really define that which one got to be triggered looking at the data pattern, and then after throw an outcome to me. So we are already into those stages where we are trying to really build something at the scale of HSBC, which may not be available for us to really buy it from outside, or the solutions available from any other vendors. Here is the departing note. As you can see, what I spoke about is building DNA, not just building a capability which can really classify you to move from reporting to analytics. Growing old is mandatory, but growing up is optional. You choose whether you are building a siloed function or you are building a capability which is going to become part of your DNA and remain in a sustainable manner with your organization. So that was the journey which we took it up in HSBC, and we have been able to deliver that. And in case if there is any question, I can take it up now. If you are not able to ask now, feel free to connect with me. You can connect me on Twitter, or you can connect me on my LinkedIn profile, as well as I write sometime on my blog, talkinghranalytics.com. Feel free to connect, ask any question. Let me take up any question you do have here. While driving talent analytics in HR function, what are the minimal skills needed? Is it must to have a data scientist or a statistics background? Answer is no. And again, we got to differentiate here that whether you are part of HR function or you are part of analytics team. As HR as a function, your core role is really talking about three critical things, right? Talent acquisition, talent development, and talent retention, isn't it, right? So I don't think you need to be a geek to really implement HR analytics in your organization. If you do not have that skill within your own organization, either you can really hire that skill from outside world, or possibly partner with consultants. There are many organizations, and you heard a couple of them here as well, right? Look for that. Go for your core skills rather than really building something which is not your core strength, right? Always partner with them to build into it rather than really start developing by yourself. However, I'll tell you one thing which is going to be very, very important for HR function success is ability to tell stories to the business in a form of quantified story rather than just talking through the gut feel. If they're able to communicate that, I think you would be successful. What steps you have taken to transform the culture of an organization at a grassroots level? I think I did cover that. These were the steps which we took it in terms of really looking into the skills which we require to build within the organization. We developed the different kind of service offerings so that we can touch base every part of the organization, whether they are managers, HR journalists, or they are executive members, or possibly they are support functions. Not only that, we did build the frameworks which really start to drive standardization and apply those things in a consistent manner. There is one word, so let me go for that question. How to measure learning impact? It will really take me at least half an hour to explain you in a simple language. But yes, there are analytical way to really quantify the benefit of learning. So how to measure learning impact? If you are more interested, I would suggest that instead of really spending time here, you drop me an email and I'll help you understand that more in detail. Thank you very much.